Hello guys, level 2 grammar. Here's your first video. All right, what we did last class was introduce the verb be. This is one of the most common high frequency verbs. This is part of the foundation. We need to be absolutely, positively, 100% clear about the verb be. Like we said in class, everybody knows the verb be is ser o estar. Basically, it's the same thing in English and Spanish, except that Spanish is more complicated, right? Yeah. English is so easy. It is the only verb with 3 forms in the present tense. Am, is, are. I am, he is, she is, it is, you are, we are, they are. And the past tense of am and is, was, and the past tense of are, were. I was, he was, she was, it was, you were, we were, they were, and the past participle is ben, B-E-E-N, ben. In Spanish that would be sido o estado, ben. It's the only verb in English with 3 forms in the present tense. It's the only verb in English with 2 forms in the past tense. In class, we talked about the common sentences with the verb be. Preposition, adjective, progressive verb, and a noun. Let's take a look at that again and look at the forms of the verb be. It's not hard, it's not complicated, and you guys already know a lot of this, okay? But this needs to be 100% perfectly clear, okay? Let's take a look, do a couple of examples like what we did in class on Wednesday, okay? So again, the verb be, the only verb with 3 forms in the present tense and 2 forms in the past tense. So let's take a look one more time and do the subject pronouns. So I, he, she, it, we, you, and they. Those are the subject pronouns. We went over that in class. We went over all the pronouns: subject, object, reflexive, and possessive. I am, he, she, it is, we, you, they are. And the past tense of am and is was. The past tense of are is were. For first person singular, am, there is no negative contraction. We have the affirmative contraction, I am, I'm, and the other affirmative contractions, he is, he's, she is, she's, it is, it's. We talked about that pronunciation in class a little bit too. Remember, here and here, well, let's write the contractions. Here we go. So, of course, I am, the contraction is I'm, he is, the contraction he's, she is, she's, it is, it's. So of course, right there is the contraction. Right there is the contraction. And remember, we have a little different sound here. He is, he's. You can feel the vibration in your throat. Z, he's, she's. This one, no vibration, like this. It's, he's, she's, it's. And the affirmative contractions here, we are, we're, you are, you're, and they are, they're. And here's, of course, the contraction. You just pronounce the pronoun you plus you, your, We, we're. They, their. I know that contraction, and it sounds a little fail for you, but remember, when do we use contractions in English? Always. No exceptions. It's the natural way of speaking and writing English is with contractions. So there's the affirmative contractions. There are no contractions in the past tense. Was and were do not have formal contractions, affirmative. Now, negative contractions, yes, we have negative contractions here and here. Let's take a look at a couple of negative contractions. So there's affirmative. So remember, no negative contraction right here, just this, am not. But the negative contraction is not, isn't, are not, aren't. And again, there's the contraction right there, right there. And again, we always use contractions. We have negative contractions for the past tense with was and were. Was not. Wasn't. Were not. Weren't. And again, there's the contraction with the negative adverb. So those are the forms: the affirmative contractions, the negative contractions, present tense, and past tense. Let's do a quick review of some of the common sentences with the verb be and the formula for questions and negative statements. It's exactly the same every time, every sentence with the verb be, present and past. So simple. Let's take a look at a couple of examples. All right. Here we go. So, like we said, 4 common sentences with the verb be: adjective, preposition, continuous tense with ing, and a noun. So let's take a look. So one common sentence with the verb be again is going to be with a preposition. Like this. I'm at home. All right, well, here's the verb be. Here's the verb be, and then here's the preposition. At. Another common sentence with the verb be was with an adjective. An adjective. Like this. David is hungry. There's the adjective. Here's the verb be. And of course, there's the adjective. Hungry. Another common sentence with the verb be is a noun. A noun. It'd be something like this, for example. My dog, her name is Elsie. I know a couple of you guys got dogs. I forget who they are. Remember one of the dogs was Luna, right? And I think the other one was Cooper, and the other one was Poopy. Remember that? Poopy. That's a funny name for a dog. But anyway, look, Elsie is a good dog. And of course, there's the verb be, and there is the noun right there. There's the noun. All right. And then the last one, the 4th one, was when we had a progressive verb with ing. I think at the end of class we talked about this. I forget her name. Melly, I think it's Melly. Remember, when it has a progressive verb, that's the main verb, and the verb be is the auxiliary verb. Here, that's the main verb. What does that mean? Main verb, verbo principal. Right there, that's the main verb. Right here, that's the main verb. Right here, that's the main verb. But with ing, the verb be is the auxiliary verb. You're watching this video. Here's, of course, the verb be. Functions as the auxiliary verb, and there's the main verb, watching. This is what we did in class last time, a little introduction, those 4 common sentences with the verb be. And of course, again, preposition, adjective, noun, and that progressive verb. Now, let's look at the formula. How do we make the statement a question, negative, and sometimes a negative question? It's so easy, and it's the same formula every time. It doesn't change. All of them are going to be the same in present and past tense. Let's take a look. Let's do an example right here. I'll use this one right in the middle here. David is hungry. And of course, this is an affirmative statement. If we want to make this an interrogative statement, a question, it's very easy. The verb be and the subject change positions, and then we have the question, just like that. Is David hungry? And the verb be, of course, and the subject, it just changed positions. Now, look, I know you know that, but be careful with your voice, with your intonation. When it is affirmative, it's a statement. Your voice has like a declining intonation like this. David is hungry. David is hungry. When it's a question, we have a rising intonation like this. Is David hungry? We have that rising intonation. Don't say, David is hungry, because then I'm confused. The order indicated affirmative, but your voice indicated a question. Just be careful with something very basic like that, okay? All right, to make that sentence negative, very simple, we just change the auxiliary, the verb be to a negative contraction. And that's like this, of course. David isn't hungry. And it is also very common to ask a negative question like this. So again, here's our verb be, negative contraction, and when we want to ask a negative question, use the contraction every time. Right there. Isn't David hungry? When we ask a negative question, the speaker assumes that the answer is yes. If I'm cold, the room is very cold, my idea is that you are also cold. So I would ask a negative question. Aren't you cold? You do the same thing in Spanish, it's the same idea. If you say in Spanish, like, ay, tú no tienes frío. It's the same thing. That's a negative question. The speaker assumes the answer is yes. So again, affirmative, David is hungry. Interrogative, is David hungry? Negative, David isn't hungry. And then the negative question, isn't David hungry? To respond, these are yes or no questions. and to respond to a yes or no question is very simple. We're always incorporating the same auxiliary verb. So, is David hungry? Yes, he is. No contraction in the short answer. You cannot say yes, he's, because we put the emphasis on the verb. Is David hungry? Yes, he is. Or, of course, no, he isn't. And you're always incorporating the same verb from the question right there. Is David hungry? Yes, he is. No, he isn't. And the same thing with the negative question too. Isn't David hungry? We assume, yes, he is. All right. The formula for affirmative is exactly the same thing. The formula for present tense is exactly the same thing as past tense. Nothing changes, only the verb. So, what's the, había una cucaracha right here. Do you have, tienen cucaracha en la casa? Yeah, you do. I know you do. You do. Every couple. Little cucaracha. I'm not going to show you. Watch. This is present tense. Let's look at past tense. Watch. Well, what is the past tense of is? Was. Not only the verb changes. The formula stays the same. David was hungry. The question, was David hungry? Negative. David wasn't hungry. The negative question. Wasn't David hungry? Nothing changes except the verb. Present and past, the formula is the same. And again, guys, the formula is the same for all of the sentences with the verb be. The adjective, the noun, the present progressive, etc. Let's do a couple of examples with that right here. Watch. So here's the adjective, right? But again, preposition, progressive verb, the noun, the formula is always the same. So that one we did with an adjective. Let's take a look at maybe a progressive verb like this. Sasha is working. That, in that case, the verb be, remember, that's the auxiliary verb. And working with the ing, that's the main verb. How do you make this? Negative or a question? Exactly the same formula. Every sentence with the verb be is always the same formula. Like this. We want to make it interrogative. The verb be and the subject change positions like this. Is Sasha working? And the only thing that changed was the position of the subject and the verb be. If we want to make that sentence negative, it's exactly the same thing, like this. Just take the verb and make it a negative contraction. Sasha isn't working. And the very common, the negative question like this. Isn't Sasha working? And again, nothing complicated, guys. Just the verb be changes position with the subject, and then we have the negative question. When do we ask a negative question? When the speaker thinks, the speaker assumes the answer is yes. So in this case, is Sasha working? And we could say this, yes, she is. No contraction in the short answer. You cannot respond and say, yes, she's. Yes, she is. We put the emphasis on the verb. And of course, negative would be this. No, she isn't. Now, those are what we call a yes or no question. A yes or no question always begins with a verb. Is Sasha working? Yes, she is. No, she isn't. Are you listening? Yes, I am. No, I'm not. What about past tense? Oh, same thing. Look, past tense, nothing complicated. We just change the verb, the formula, everything stays the same like this. This is past progressive. Was Sasha was working? The question, was Sasha working? The negative, Sasha wasn't working. And the negative question, wasn't Sasha working? And if we know that we only change the verb, then in the short answer, you always incorporate the same verb. So, was Sasha working? Yes, she was. Or no, she wasn't. We're always incorporating the same verb from the question. Now, again, those are called yes or no questions. When the question begins with the verb, the only information that we want is yes or no. For an information question, we need an information question word. Who, what, where, when, why, etc. And that is not hard. All you need to do is put that information question word here, like this. For example, right here, you just would put right here, this would be one of those information question words, like this. Why wasn't Sasha working? Why wasn't Sasha working? We were looking for an explanation. Right here. Where was Sasha working? So, the only difference between a yes or no question and an information question is the question word. No question word, only the verb, yes or no. That's the only information we want. With the question word, now we want to know location, people, time, reason, explanation, etc. That's what those question words ask for. Information. Was Sasha working? It's only yes or no. Where was Sasha working? Oh, she was working. Was Sasha working? No, she wasn't. Okay, why wasn't Sasha working? We're asking for an explanation. Okay, so that's a little review of what we did in class, all right, with the verb be. Of course, there's more. I think we had about maybe 8 or 9 or 10 exercises to do for homework. So, guys, make sure you get your book. Okay, make sure you get the grammar book, the textbook, and do your homework. We will check those exercises together in class on Wednesday, and I'm going to make another video, maybe 2, maybe 3, and I will send them to you before next class. Make sure you watch the videos, make sure everything is perfectly clear. If you have any questions while you're watching the video, take some notes, and when we see each other in class, we can talk about it in class. Okay? So for now, that's it. I'm gonna see you guys again on Wednesday morning, and I will send you another video or 2. Okay? I hope you guys are having a good weekend, and I'll see you in class on Wednesday morning. Thank you very much, guys. See you later. Bye.